All right, we are back again. You simply cannot get rid of us.
That's right.
Sorrow Eternal, episode 9.
Yeah.
This is a big one for us. You know, you think the 9th episode really isn't that special, but got some good stuff to talk about today. And the Murmaider is old.
That's right.
And getting older by the minute. He's actually grown a long gray beard since we started. So, got a lot on the agenda today. Now, Murmaider, in your pattern recently, you've been all over the black metal scene.
Yep.
So, you did Infestus this week.
Yeah. I liked it. It's a black metal band from Germany. It's their 4th studio album. Again, with the raw recordings, low quality. The only issue I really had with the album was that some of the vocals, some of the growling, I guess, was weaker in certain areas of the album. He had powerful growling, but I feel like he would fade off at the end of certain lyrics or certain verses, and it almost like, I don't know, strain his voice or something. It was.
So he wasn't like driving it home. It was just kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he half-assed it. I don't know. But I mean, the music was great. Just dark guitars and crazy double bass in a lot of the songs. But like I said, the vocals is what kind of turned me off at points. I'm sure, it's still early for the band, so they'll maybe make some corrections and get stronger with that as they go along.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the key, is to, improve as you go.
Yeah. Now, you just did a recent review on Hell.
I did, and not the place.
Not the place, yeah.
Yeah, no, this band, what a crazy story this is. The band was formed in 1982 over in the UK. Now, would you believe me if I told you this is their first studio album?
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, fuck out of here. But it is. It is actually their first studio album.
Uh-huh.
The band kind of got looked over when they were, up and coming. And they had a record deal fall through with a label that went on to fold, actually. And then their lead guitarist and singer, Dave Halliday, commits suicide.
Ooh.
And basically the band just kind of went, fuck it, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So they give up. Now, Andy Sneap, you might know the name. He's a pretty big metal and rock producer. He was a huge fan of theirs. He was front row for their shows, was a big fan. The guy, Dave Halliday, the one who committed suicide, actually taught him how to play guitar. So fast forward to now, Andy Sneap says, hey, why don't we get you guys in the studio? We'll record those songs. We'll put the album out now. So they get a new singer. They get Andy Sneap to play guitar. He knows the guitar parts inside and out.
Right.
And they release their album called Human Remains. This goddamn album, it's one of the few things that you can say, almost 30 years later, it was worth the wait. It is unbelievable because there's so much to it. The guitars are incredible, shredding. The bass is phenomenal. I mean, the bass parts are more intricate than the guitar parts at times.
Uh-huh.
The drumming is fast and furious. I mean, I know you're a big fan of rolls and fills, and this has some incredible fills.
Yeah.
And I think the highlight of the album is the vocals, because the guy, it's like high-pitched, screaming, but there's some growls, some screeching. There's really no clean singing. This guy has a very interesting voice. Like, I think he could fit in some of the more recent Dimmu Borgir albums. The guy's voice is just incredible. And this is an album you gotta check out. It is absolutely ridiculous. There's a song on there called Plague and Fire. It is just non-stop, just crushing. I have nothing but great things to say about this album. And, I'm new to this band, obviously, and I know some of you guys are too, so make sure you check that one out.
Interesting.
Now, on the flip side, of course, every now and then we have a review that's not so good.
Uh-huh.
So this week I was listening to the new album by While Heaven Wept, and you and I had talked about the album before, and both of us kind of went like, I don't really remember anything about it.
Yeah, it was just released a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's nothing wrong with the album. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad album. It's just there's nothing good about it either. It's kind of boring. The vocals are kind of a one-trick pony. Same kind of vocal pattern in every song. Every song you wait for the guitars to just explode, and they never do. It's just kind of a lot of build-up and nothing. There's nothing that separates it from anything else. Mm. It's just kind of generic, and I really think, if this is a power metal album, there's got to be something in it. If you don't want to be power metal, well, then try something else.
Yeah.
But
I remember seeing the cover is what really caught my eye.
Uh-huh. definitely it looked like a great power metal album. If you look
yeah.
at the cover. But, I mean, the band, this is not a new band. They've been around for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Recording in various forms.
Oh.
So, you know, this is not a band that's, you know, up and coming. This is a band that's there already. So they got to do something. But a little disappointed in that. But in honor of Murmaider and his birthday, death day here, our topic that we really wanted to get into is something that, you know, is near and dear to the Murmaider because he's into black metal a lot. So we were going to talk about black metal, stereotypes, lyrics, just all things black metal.
Yep.
What do you think, man?
Well, what I want to get into was, what's your opinion on bands that are drastic with what they believe in and really taking it to the next level, and where it becomes more than just music, and, you know, people's lives, you know, get hurt and whatever, they burn churches and whatnot. I think it's a little too much to prove a point. I understand you're trying to prove a point. I mean, I guess it all comes down to religion.
Yep. I mean, it's religion and culture in general.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you don't see... It's not like a... I think this is kind of one of the things that we were talking about, is that black metal is just one big stereotype.
Yeah.
You think of black metal, you think of dudes in, like, black and white corpse paint.
Yeah.
You think of church burnings, evil and darkness, worshiping Satan.
Yeah.
That's not what it's all about.
Right.
Now, obviously, the church burnings, that seems to be a phenomenon mainly in Norway, where obviously that sort of thing is not only, you know, constant, but it's accepted. It's just, you know, everyone knows it goes on, and
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. But you're right; it's a pretty outrageous way to make a point.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, there's cultural differences.
Right. Yeah, Norway is really the bands from Norway are really the ones that have taken it to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Venom, anyone would say is like the original black metal, but they never burned churches or anything like that. I've even seen them in interviews and stuff, and they're regular guys for the most part.
I think that's the craziest part, is that when these bands, you know, they put on this mystique of, you know, oh man, we're black metal, and, you know, they're worship. The songs are about how great Satan is, and then you see the interviews with them after, and some of them really don't feel that way. And,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like we were talking about with Slayer a couple weeks ago. You know, God hates us all, and Tom Araya basically says, like, well, you know, God doesn't hate, but it's a great song title.
Yeah, so they did it more for
shock value.
yeah.
And black metal's the same thing. Well, not all of those guys worship Satan. Not all of those guys burn churches. But, you know, it's just part of the scene. We actually have, you guys will see right below this podcast, our interview this week with one of the bands you reviewed, Skogan.
Yep.
And guys from the band basically said the same thing, that, you know, they understand the stereotypes, and, you know, the look is so much a part of the music. And, you know, people from the outside don't really understand why the look is, but, you know, they get it. And that he basically said that he's all for church burnings. He wouldn't do it himself. Like, he's not that crazy about it, but, you know, he's into it. He thinks it's great.
Yeah. Really standing for what you believe in.
And they really see Christianity as just shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're trying to just remove it from the earth and,
Yeah.
you know, trying to take it down one church at a time. You know, there's a great segment in that the metal documentary, Metal: A Headbanger's Journey, where he
Right.
goes to Norway and he interviews a lot of people involved, you know, in the church burnings, and, you know, everyone's very emotional about it from both sides.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that I feel like both sides have to realize that you're not going to get rid of one or the other, so you kind of just have to live with it. You know, for the longest time, people have tried to ban metal ever since the beginning because, you know, they say it's bad. And not even just metal, but hip-hop and rap and anything that has violence in it, or that they think is Satan worshipping or anything like that, they try to get rid of, especially here in the United States.
Yep.
And they, of course, you know, there's people out there that are just have so much passion for the music they're not going to go away. And then vice versa with religion. You know, there's people with such passion for religion, and that they're not going to give up on their religion just because somebody burns a church or whatever. So I just feel like it's going to go on. And
Well, I guess, you know, you bring up an interesting point. From the standpoint of some of these you know, hardcore black metal musicians, in what way does burning a church eliminate a religion?
yeah, right.
you know, these people are, you know, they believe in this, they have faith, and whatever. The church not being there isn't going to make them go, oh, well, church isn't there, I guess I better worship Satan now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what I don't understand
Like
about
they're trying to scare them or threaten them. More of a threat, maybe.
I guess. But I mean, it's interesting, and the cultural differences obviously are probably why we don't understand it. Because that doesn't happen here.
It could also be just because the band just wants to show what they believe.
Yeah, no, that's true
This is
too.
what we stand for, you know.
But you know, the downside being that a couple bands do it, and they, you know, they're proud of it. And unfortunately, they scar the entire genre.
Yeah.
Because now the people who don't do it, the people who make the music because they like the music,
Right.
you know, they end up getting lumped in with the people who actually do this horrible horrible shit.
Yeah.